We are live, Rob.
I'm good. I'm glad somebody was checking because I felt like I was on the verge of not being tired and a little drained or whatnot. In a good mood. Things are going very well, and some things are happening. Things are going good for us. Some of them I don't want to put out there yet. But the whole left palm scratching thing,
Right.
That's we're really close to that really paying some. We did actually have something happen. It wasn't massive, but it was massive to a lot of people. And then other news. So, yeah. So I don't know, because I get that all the time with different things like, oh, you're going to make money. Okay. Then it was it the right hand or the left hand? That's the right hand. You're going to wind up paying money out, paying a bill.
Oh,
or
no,
whatnot.
It doesn't matter. If any of my palms itch, money's coming to me.
Okay.
That's it. That's all.
And that's what I was tired of, like going. And, you and I were talking a little bit, tired of everything taking its own, got to have some other divine meaning, or, that's the way I grew up. If your palms itch, money was coming in, period.
Your ears ring, somebody's talking about you. It doesn't matter which ear, somebody's talking about you.
Well, my ears have been ringing for 16 years with tinnitus
or so. Somebody's walked across your grave. Right?
That's what we always said, was a duck walked across your grave.
We didn't say a duck. We just said somebody. Somebody walked across your grave. But, yeah. Well, I'm glad you're having a good week, because mine's been trucking weird, Rob. Weird. Had some weirdo stuff happen.
Yeah, you were telling me. Well, and one happened while I was on the phone with you.
Yes, right. So the cat knocked over a tarot deck of mine, and I promptly picked it up. And
that was last week when we were on show, wasn't it?
No, this was Monday.
Okay.
So Monday, because the cat, last week we were on the show, knocked like the whole tin with the sage and the ashes. And please, I was pissed. But at any rate, so it was a big mess. But I had my tarot deck on my work desk, and she pushed it off the desk, so the cards were all over the floor. And just so everybody knows, this bed doesn't have an underneath to it. Like, there's no way to get under it. It's solid all around. It's got drawers in it, so there's no getting under it. And I'm going through the cards, and I'm missing a card. So I look under my desk. I look in the drawer. I look, I'm pulling apart where the computer is, and I'm lifting stuff up. Card is gone. It's a Page of Wands, by the way. And just so everybody knows, every time I'm drawing the cards, the Page of Wands has been showing up.
Really?
Yeah. So that's one. So then I'm talking to you Tuesday, and we're talking about this show. And you heard it hit the floor.
Yep.
Pendulum dropped. I said, oh, shit, I just dropped my pendulum. I leaned over to go get it. It is gone. It is not under my desk. Guys, there is nowhere underneath anything other than my desk where this pendulum can be.
Right there where your feet are. I mean, that's it.
Where my feet are. There's nothing like there under it where this thing could have rolled to, slipped to, slid to. It is gone. Right. I cannot find it. So my plan is over the next little bit to just tear everything apart, see if I can find it. Today, I'm working, I'm going back and forth, I'm swapping out laundry. I have these purple, you guys know my purple flip-flops.
Yeah.
Purple flip-flops. I wear them in and out of the garage so my feet don't get dirty. I go into the garage, I swap out laundry. Usually I come out, I slip them off by the front door so that I'm not walking through the house with them. And, I'll put them back on as I'm going in and out the garage. My flip-flops are gone. I can't find them. They're not by my chair. They're not by the front door. They're not by the table. They're not by the back door. They're not in my bathroom. They're not in my bedroom. I don't know where these fucking things are. Usually,
and you were just wearing them though.
I was just wearing them today. So normally what I'll do is if I do wear them through the house, I'll slip them off right here on this side of the bed.
Yeah.
So that as I'm leaving to go back on, I slip them on, I go out. So I don't know. You know, we had this whole show planned where we're going to talk about, you know, why does everything have to be a thing? And, you know, is it really mean anything? And, you know, then all this shit happens. So is a cigar just a cigar, right? Am I just clumsy? Am I just not taking care of my stuff? Am I absent-minded? Or like, is there a message in all of it, right?
Or like I said, is there a vortex or something? Because if they're disappearing, that's beyond being just clumsy. When they're disappearing and you can't find them within 5 feet, and like you said, they can't bounce under the bed or under your desk.
Right.
I mean, it would be right there.
It would be right. There's nowhere. You've been in this room. There is nowhere for the stuff to. There's like no, you know, no sofa for it to go under, no dresser for it to go under, no bed for it to go under. So I don't know. But if there is a vortex, it needs to open up a little wider and just suck me in.
Take everything else in, huh?
Just me. Just take me, and I'll tiptoe through whatever freaking dimension, universe it sucks me into, looking for my stuff. I'll be like Luna Lovegood, looking for my sneakers at the end of Harry Potter. I mean, but yeah, I mean, if there's a vortex, shit, you know?
Yeah.
Do something for me. Come on, man. Don't steal my stuff. Just take me. Period.
Yeah, why not put a little something here? Something gold, something green, you know? You could drop something. Yeah. But and then again, or is it just freaky shit? You're going to turn around in a week and go, there it is. But you and I, we've both been through this before.
Right.
You know, like I said, with the hat, with the clothes and
Tarot
all
decks.
that, you know.
I've had tarot decks. I've had crystals disappear, show back up again. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I needed it in a different dimension. Maybe these are things that I needed across some timeline, some parallel timeline where the other Brigitte exists and it just intersected. You're right. Maybe next week, suddenly that Page of Wands will be there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's crazy. What will be crazy is when you find them in another room. Now we got another whole show.
Right. Yeah. It's just wild. I don't know what's going on.
Right.
You know,
It's interesting that it's the Page of Wands.
Yeah.
You know, and you're saying that keeps showing up. Is there something you need to learn in your growth, spiritual life?
Yes. Is there something I need to learn? Yes, Rob, there is. I don't know what it is, but of course there is something I need to learn. Always. Yes. So what is that beats me.
Right. You know, I don't know. You know, the next time we come over, I'll have to come in there and run my pendulum
Bring
and see
your
what
divining rods.
Yeah.
Your little rods. But,
yeah, I got them sitting right over there.
And the other thing I was just talking to you about is I swore I had a Lenormand deck. You know,
right.
20-something years doing this, and I don't have a Lenormand deck. This makes no sense to me.
Well, and you know,
I bought one, and I'm tearing apart all my shit, and hell if I can find it, and I can see the front of it. I can see the front of the thing, but I'll be
and you know, you heard me with Gillian. Where's our Lenormand deck? Because I know we had one, and what makes it even worse was I remember her talking about the Lenormand deck.
Yeah, because
and I was like, I don't know if I really want to get into learning something new or whatnot right now. And now I've got one on the way. But she's saying, no, we don't have it. So why am I vividly remembering?
It's me.
Same for you, a Lenormand deck. When you bring that up, or Lenormand, however anyone wants to say it, I don't get it. You know, things happen.
I don't either, and I will swear to you that I had one, and I can see the front cover of it, and I'll be dipped in buttermilk. I looked through everything today, and it is not there. So I don't know. Like,
if anybody was going to have one, I figured it would be you, just because I know
years?
how many
Like
decks you have.
25 years of me collecting decks and just being in this sort of growing into this sort of mind space, and I don't have a Lenormand deck. I have runes. I have charms where you toss them and you pick through them and figure out. But I don't have a Lenormand deck.
Chakra decks, Akashic record decks.
Yes.
You name it. Between us, we should have every section of this
Wiccan
cover.
holiday decks. I've got
Numerology, yeah.
Decks, Wiccan holiday decks, or pagan holiday decks, whatever. Yule and Imbolc and what the hell are they? All kinds of Mabon and Beltane and all that shit.
Yeah.
So I've got all those decks. I swear to you. So I'm like, what is going on here? But
So again, so do we look at this as there's a message here? There's something, or just this is weird. Shit went missing, and I need to replace it. And it seems to me everybody wants to dive into that. Oh, it's a divine message era. You know, there's no just living life anymore. You know,
I don't even know. Like, for me, I feel like it's more like everybody's, like we were talking about. I asked you the other day, when's the last time you had a really good reading, like one of those holy shit life altering readings, right?
If it's not from me, Gillian, or you, that's why we were talking about there's a good juju show coming up here this weekend in Melbourne.
Right.
Normally we all go, but we haven't been to one in a long time.
Yeah, I haven't.
And it's just like, you get tired of, there's so many people doing what we do, but for the wrong reasons.
No, they're not. My purple New Balance flip-flops. Sorry.
They crossed the line this time.
Well, and that's the thing, right? And so do we have our expectations set so high for that big bad, that huge moment like that?
Yeah.
That every time we get a reading, it's going to just blow our minds, and that, or every time we meditate, it's going to be this real, message, and it's going to be deep, and it's going to be enlightening, and it's going to be all this shit.
I'm going to see angels. I'm going to do the astral projection.
And you go to do it, and you have such expectations. And then you go and you do your 30-minute meditation. It was like, well, I guess that was all right. I mean, at least it gave my nervous system a chance to sort of dial back, and I'm able to, but you're waiting and you're looking, and you're just waiting and waiting and waiting for that, like, oh, and it doesn't happen.
And that's what I'm talking about. Everybody's looking for this big boom, or if I'm
like
reading, if I meditate or whatnot, what's wrong with just being happy with life and nothing big or dangerous or scary or is going. learn to be, I think it's learning to be mindful, because we all, the world has come to a place we can't just sit still. We can't just be about nothing. I think that's the reason
We're
people
always on
listen.
our phone, or we're always on the internet, or we're always got the TV going, or there's always something to
Constantly entertaining us.
Sitting there and being, right? Just doing the breathing and just sort of just being, just sitting there, just sort of taking it in. I walked in the room the other day, and Bruce was in the bed with the dogs, and remarkably, he didn't have his phone. The TV wasn't on. Nothing was going. And I'm like, "Are you all right? Like, are you? So you feel okay? Like, are you sick?" And he's like, "No." He's like, "I'm just kind of sitting here. It's quiet. Like, I didn't have the TV on in the other room either.
Right.
A lot of times I won't turn the TV on almost all day until later in the afternoon. So I'll sit in the living room and do stuff on my phone and stuff, but the TV won't be going." And he's like, "I'm just enjoying the quiet." He's like, "The dogs are being quiet. The bird isn't yelling. The cats are off doing their thing. Christopher's not on his game hollering. The TVs are off. Like, you're off doing whatever it is you're doing. So I'm just sitting here chilling out."
Yeah. And it's rare. We don't do that. It's like we've always had some keep going. I said a long time ago, I think that's the reason radio, iPods, all this ear stuff. Not so sure there might not be something behind this thing in technology, not to get us all started off on that tangent.
Conspiracies.
But we can't, I don't think we want to be alone with our thoughts.
I don't disagree with you, and I think if you want to go down that road, I don't think they want us to be.
Okay, now because we're not thinking, we're reacting, and we're getting our brain pumped full of shit all day long from everywhere.
Yeah,
everywhere.
I just made a Facebook post the other day where I was like, I'm just so tired of all the shit on my feed. The point of it is to absolutely just numb us all to the point where we're like, it's just another fucking Tuesday. Sorry.
Yeah. No, and but that's right. And it does this. It breaks people. I know 15, 20 years ago when all this crap started. Okay. Let's go 15. When y'all contacted me, all right, and Bruce called me, and one of your old friends that had been around forever, I knew him, and everything, we can't be friends anymore because of your political views or what. I didn't grow up with that. We can't be friends because we differ with political things. It was cool to discuss it and people learn from it. But now we're being divided as a society. We're being divided from people. Kind of like a recent thing I was just talking about, and you'll know what I'm talking about. I think it's getting us, whatever this is, if we're going to go down this path, it's trying to get everybody isolated from their community. Does that make sense?
Right. I think
it's breaking us apart.
I think that if we're going to go down this road,
well, I guess we're going down it. We keep saying that.
I think that there are key people who are key. I use the term people loosely because it's a lot of people.
Yep.
But they are key in the upper echelon of our society, for lack of a better
not
word.
necessarily political.
Right.
Business, power, where the real power runs.
Right. And I think in order for those key players, whoever they may be, I mean, you and I have ideas of some of them, but we don't even know the names of all of them. And I'm not even talking like politically at this point, because our politicians are puppets for these people, in my
Right.
mind, just across the board. So these people, in order for them to continue directing capitalism and healthcare and all that stuff, we have to have other things to grab our attention.
Right.
And I'm sorry, we saw it with the Epstein file, what these people are capable of, and what they've been doing, not for years, for decades and
across political platforms, decades.
Political platforms, social platforms, decades. Oh my God, all the hair on my legs and arms are standing up because but we are talking decades, like as old as you and me, decades. And the reason why it's not brought out to the public, American public, until recently is because we did not have the media to go ahead, the mass media to go ahead and push it out there. But everybody's got cameras. Everybody's walking around with a little computer in their hand, computer, camera, all day, every day.
And
you never know who's taking pictures. You never know who's doing what.
You don't know what news is real, what news is not. We got people posting political and news stuff as if it was real, all right? And we don't know. So I've literally have to start double checking, looking at stuff, and I'm starting to try to get away from it because, like, they will post somewhere, you know, oh, this star died today or whatnot, and all they're trying to do is get people to click on it.
Right,
and it's not true. But there's no punishment, there's no downside
and
for reporting false stuff.
Point I was trying to make is that crap is intentionally injected into the media for us to consume, to pit ourselves against one another in order to allow these key players to continue doing what they do and how they do it. And so they want you to turn us, they want us weak-minded people, and they keep us weak-minded.
Yes.
To turn our heads from decisions they're making about our health care, about medicine, about trafficking people and just everything. And it's just injected into our media. And it's there because we eat it up.
It's power. It's control. Cynthia asked a question, but what's the purpose? It's ultimately power, money. Number one, I will tell you, I've never met a rich person that didn't want more. Okay? Never met a rich person that didn't want more. It's just the nature. Doesn't mean they're greedy. Doesn't mean they're wrong. Okay? But you get the wrong person with that kind of money and everything. Then when you look at resources, what would this be worth? And then you've got the other thought process that the reptilians and all that stuff. And I don't know enough about all these
about that
races either, but it's one of those things of once you're in total control, okay, and we're all the worker bees, they're enslaving their worker bees to make them rich. And what's the old saying? Divided, united we stand, divided we fall, or something like that. They want us divided because look how many billions of people are working every day to make somebody else money,
right,
with scraps off the table. So I do believe Cynthia has got something to do with power and resources. Now, what they want to do with it or whatnot, I have no clue.
I
Okay.
think it's also a matter of, and you and I have known so many people like that.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't, I'm going to do it because I can, for
Mhm.
no other reason than the fact that I can.
I'm bored right now and I can do this.
I can do it. And who's going to stop me? Who will ever believe? Who will ever believe that I am stealing people and sending them to an island and forcing them to do God knows what for God knows how long?
And what's funny on that,
I'm letting them
you're on
free.
something.
I'm letting them free. And they're coming back and saying these things are happening, and nobody believes them because it is so outrageous that a normal person just absolutely cannot wrap their head around the reality of it.
You know, the whole human trafficking thing, okay? And everybody thinks it's all sex. Sex trade is a huge part of that, but it's not. It's slavery, it's workers. We have sex or human trafficked people from different countries in our country right now because they're forced to work.
It's like indentured servitude, right?
Yeah,
They
like
steal their passports and stuff. And
Asian, some of the Asian culture, we hear about it all the time. But then what they did was a smart thing. They used, remember the old QAnon, okay?
Yeah.
And Wayfair is selling children in refrigerator boxes,
Yeah.
and they took it so far out. That's why a whole problem, we can't see the forest for the trees. We're all worried about all this other stuff, and we have no idea how many people are kidnapped every day. And here's one of the biggest things. I learned this back when I was dealing with it when I went to school on it, okay, in police work. Do you know the biggest day of the year for human trafficking in this country?
Yeah, you said the Super Bowl or something.
Super Bowl. All the money coming in from all over the world. Sit down, hotel rooms, things like this. It's just massive. You ever hear anything about it on Super Bowl Sunday?
Oh, no.
Even a warning? Hey, watch for your kids. Look out. I saw my first sign the other day when we were out somewhere about you need to be mindful of human trafficking. And I was like, whoa, it was a government posted sign. I can't remember where I saw it. But if something's suspicious, call. And all of this is going on, but it's not on anybody's radar for a, whoa, we got to stop and get this under control,
Well, but as it starts to amp up, all of a sudden, something even more outrageous comes to the forefront of the news cycle, and then we're like, oh, we'll get back to that. What's this over here? You know what I mean? And that's the point of it, right? Is to feed. And I think all of it is propaganda anymore.
Yeah,
all of it. It doesn't matter. Every last bit of it is propaganda. So I think we just are fed so much stuff. And to get back to the point of why is everybody searching for something? Because what else do we got?
Are we lost?
Got to feel like there's got to be something better out there.
Do you think that very well could be, a lot of times I tell people don't get lost, like I said, looking for a tree in the forest and you can't see the forest for the trees. Is it that simple that we're starting to feel that empty that we need something like this to make us feel alive again?
I think people are grasping to have faith in something. We can't have faith in our government. We can't have faith in our neighbors. We don't have faith in our clergy. We have no faith even in our families anymore. Like individually, where does your faith lie? Everything that you've ever put faith into has betrayed you right? In some way, shape, or form. We talk about all the abuse that people suffer, and have suffered in their lives, and they're estranged from their families because of it, or just all kinds of stuff. So where do you put your faith? I mean, God's not coming to save us. Our government's not coming to save us. Your family is, or whatever, it's not coming to save you. Your job doesn't give a shit about you. They're not coming to save you. So where do you put your faith?
Well, and I said this to somebody the other day, even as far as our country or whatnot. Remember the whole big cause of the revolution, with the Europeans, the British, and all that stuff was taxation without representation.
Right.
And I brought this up to somebody. Are we not back there? Yes, we have Congress people that we elect, but they're not working for us.
They do whatever they want.
They're working for business. How dare people go in as a public servant and come out a multimillionaire? What the fuck?
Right.
Sorry. I'm just like, wait a minute. This is not so again, but remember, Rob's an anarchist. Okay. I have anarchist tendencies, but it's one of those things where I think we're losing our footing. We're losing our footing of who we are, not just as a country, but as an individual. Is this what I'll give you a very good example that's kind of runs parallel to what I had. Had this guy I was working with that was on heroin. Got him off, boom. 8 months in. Remember I always said I worry about people when they hit the 8 months. 3 months, 4 months, I don't worry about them. 8 months. He literally asked to see me. He came in, sat down. He said, "Is this all there is?" I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Okay, paying my bills is just paying my bills. And now that I'm clean, I realize how much I'm working to pay for somebody else's shit." And I'm like, "But that's life. That's what we do." He's like, "Yeah, no. I'd rather go quicker and live stoned out of my mind," and went right back to heroin on voluntary choice.
Right.
And I'm not saying that happens all the time, but it happens a lot more than what we think because people are not handling reality. It's not fun anymore. There's no, I don't know what it is. There's no peace.
It's not safe. There's no safety. There's no safe place for people to go. Where do you go as an individual? You can't go to you can't go to your church or clergy because they're not supporting you. You can't go to your government. There's no safety there. They're not supporting you. Your family, if you're estranged from them. And then in your family, there's only so much. I mean, you're all swimming in the same pond when it comes to your family, right? So how much can they actually do, in the big picture?
Right.
Your job doesn't give a shit about you. If you died right now, if I died right now on the air, do you know what would happen tomorrow? Bruce would call my boss, and my boss would say, "Oh, that's a shame." He'd tell HR, and HR would say, "Oh, we're going to have to put have to put rec out there to get somebody in to backfill her position."
Right.
Oh, and by the way, Mr. Kaler, your wife had life insurance. You're the beneficiary. It should pay out in a couple of weeks. And that's it. That's what happened.
They'll be looking for your replacement tomorrow. We'll all have a remembrance service for you. But then after that day, on the next Monday, I'm back on the air. And I don't mean that mean. It's not mean. But that's the cycle. That's life. That's what happens.
But the thing of it is, in between those, in between that and that, you're looking for that community, that safety, that place where you can go and feel like, you know, you're protected from
Right.
all that, right? Just even if it's just for a little while, you've got this safe place. And we don't have those safe places anymore. Look at our teenagers who, you know, they draw these kids in and then they kill them. They beat them to death. They you know what I mean?
They
And
weaponize
all under
them.
the
They do
guise
all
of
these
friendship.
different things. Yeah.
All under the guise of friendship. Or you get the one kid who has just seen too much and had it and crashes into a brick wall at 100 miles an hour with 3 other kids in the car with them, takes them out. Or
think,
goes into a high school and just starts like, you know, like.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree. And you know, Cynthia, one of the things, you know, we talk about with, you know, you were asking about why. I think our leaders and even our church leaders are having problems now because there's so much information we can get to really fact check our own religious foundations that I don't know that they all 100% believe everything they were taught. It's all man-made. It's all a man-made construct. And even to the point, my second wife, we went to the Methodist church because we knew we had over 1,000 people at that wedding. Okay. 9 people on each side. It was jammed because she's from Melbourne. I'm from Melbourne. We knew everybody. Okay. That didn't last long. We both know that. So if you're thinking about getting married, it's not the size of the marriage. Yeah. Don't care. I sat down and he said, why don't you think about joining the church? Because then he found out I could sing. And I'm like, well, you know, I need to know what you believe because all I've been told is what my Baptist father said, you know, about your belief. And so I asked him some questions and he reached down into a desk and pulled out a book. Now, this is years ago. Gillian and I have been here, you know, been together now. We had our 11th anniversary, so we're 15 years together total. I was with my third wife. Yes, people, it's okay. Everybody knows it, you know, for about 8 years. So we're going back this far. And he reached in and started looking it up. And he's reading me the belief. And I said, no, I want to know what you believe. I can't do that as a pastor. I have to tell you what's in this book. And that's when I went, whoa, that might have been a major turning point in my life to start really question. Every religion is man-made. They will tell you baptism, Catholics. No, it's not. Bullshit. I can get started on some of this. It all started by man, not. It just drives me insane. Like, you won't ever hear, read in any of the old scriptural, old context, Jesus, the Buddha, anybody praying to Mary. Jesus wasn't praying to his mother, okay? Jesus didn't pray to the saints that were his apostles. And in the Bible, you won't see them anywhere praying to Mary or praying. They're all giving this point. So where did that start? It started when man built the church. And they started taking things, and that's the reason I think it goes back that far. And now, because there are people that are saying, free think, stop and think. I do like to do that, okay? Just stop and think. That's all I ask, okay? I don't think they have a place to go anymore because they're starting to realize something's wrong. So they can't trust the news. They don't trust their government. And now we can't trust the church. Where do you go? What's left?
And that's the thing, right? And so here we all are in this, you know, spiritual, I'll put it in quotes, sort of community where we're, you know, we're looking at really, is that the word? Really?
Yeah. Ethereally? Is that what you're saying?
Ethereally. Thank you.
That's all right.
For answers, we want clearer understanding. And so I think the thought is until, you know, there's always that until you understand yourself, you're not going to understand. But I just think that we're looking for some guidance from somewhere, because we're all just sort of roaming the earth aimlessly, right? Like, what are you doing? And I mean that more on a philosophical level. I mean, I know everybody has goals. You have your careers, you have your house, you got. I just mean like philosophically, we're all sort of out here kicking a rock down the road, going, all right, what's
next?
Of it? What's the point of all this? What's the point of, and how come I have to bust my ass, break my back for the things that I want, and then if I don't want to do that, I just get to die in the middle of the street or out in the woods somewhere, or what? Like,
Yeah,
it's like fourth. It's like a more twisted version of slavery, right? Like, we just have no choice. This is what we have to do, and there's no joy in doing any of it. And I think that's where the problem is, right? I mean, you love your career and what you like. Bruce absolutely loves travel.
Yes, he does.
And he loves helping people and helping them plan their stuff. So I get that. There are those things, but when it's all said and done, for what? Like, what for? And I think that's the whole purpose that everybody's trying to find. It used to be you were doing this to have a great life, and then you would die and you would go to heaven and you would live in heaven forever. Right? And you would want for nothing. Well, like, that thought process just doesn't exist for a lot of people anymore. Right? That's not a reality for most people that I know. So now what?
Right.
Where do you place your, where do you go? Who do you talk to? What do you do to try and sort of get something like that back?
I hear you, so I don't know. And that's why, but again, it gets to that, people always, does he love me? You know what? Date, find out. That's what life's about. It amazes me how many people will put their faith in somebody they don't have a freaking clue who or what they are to dictate, no, he's a scumbag, walk away from him. And you might have been with the best guy you ever met. I'm not taking on that responsibility. All right. And I don't think anybody should. I think it needs to be, what are you bringing to the relationship, and what do you need to know about if you got in a relationship? But you and I both know all that can change at the drop of a hat. Choices, people,
So Deborah says, we were all taught a history filled with lies, along with the MK Ultra, so we should have compassion and grace for each other. Yeah, I get it. I do. I have a hard time with compassion and grace for people who embrace hurting other people because they're not like us. I can't have compassion for this type of people.
And compassion is dying. I think compassion is dying. I have to work on myself a lot of times to, at first I blamed my lack of compassion on 15 years of police work, very dark humor, or whatnot. And But now, even now, I got out of that or whatnot. There are times going, we're watching our murder shows, you know. Yeah, that sucks. But why was he there?
You're going, serves you right, stupid. You should never have, right?
Ah,
I was having a conversation. You know, it's so funny.
You can't stand up in the middle of a street in a snowstorm. You know, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Bruce and I and Christopher were having a conversation the other day about Star Trek, believe it or not. I know that's just, you can't believe it. But we were talking about some Star Trek characters and a couple of female Star Trek characters. And there are two of them that I really, really, really dislike, but really dislike. And Bruce said, how come the characters that you dislike are strong women? And I said, but they're not. They're these whiny women who had a hard life. And so they joined Starfleet so that they could, you know, I'll show you. But they are not strong women. They're, you know, they're just these kids who are trying to, who are like, oh, wow, my hard life. And Bruce was like, damn, babe, you're cold. And because I was like, wow, my dad died. Blah. Welcome to reality, honey. Everybody's dad dies.
And that's it. Stop whining for crying out loud. You know?
And Bruce was like, God damn it, you are cold sometimes.
No, you and me would be the same thing. We're watching our cooking shows or we're watching this thing. Well, you know, I'm a cancer survivor. Get in freaking line. What's it got to do with how you cook? Stop tugging at the judge's heart. I'm like, y'all forgive me. Y'all know I love Gillian and she had cancer, but I will look at the TV and go, okay, you had cancer. So now what's eating you? You know? And she's like, holy shit, she does the same thing. And I'm sitting there going, that has nothing to do
with the
you had a rough life, so that made you this powerful individual. Well, so that means we've got 1.5 million Joan of Arcs out there because they had life way worse than this other person did. Okay. And we've got 1.5 million King Arthurs out there because they had it worse. You know, guys, we all we all had problems. Some of us had less problems, and I hear it. I can already hear it. I can actually hear Bruce almost hitting me on the TV.
He's
you know,
like,
well, some people had no parents. Some people, you're right. Some people, but not every person goes down this. A lot of these people come back and make something big and strong out of themselves. This isn't a prerequisite for failure. That's almost that. Oh, did your mother spank you too much? Were you dreaming of making love to your mother? You know, it's all that stupid. It gets down that path. I'm like, wait, not everything's related to your mother.
Right.
Okay. You know, well, my daddy beat me, so that's why I beat up my child. Well, you know what? What I don't understand, my dad beat me, so therefore it took me a bit, but then I had to learn this ain't the way to go.
Right.
Okay. And so you strive. I hate bullies. I can't stand bullies. It gets me riled up. Therefore, I go to war against bullies because my dad was a bully. It's the way I see it, right, wrong, or indifferent. All right. I don't understand why it's always, well, he was beaten, so he had to beat somebody else. To a certain age, I can get that. To a certain age, I can get that. But we grow up.
I don't necessarily disagree with this. Right?
Yeah.
I agree with you. If you're uncaring and detached, then you're part of the problem. But Bruce, I can't care about everything all the time.
No.
You think I'm a basket case the way I am now? Watch me take on everybody's stuff and see what happens. And I think that's what Rob and I are saying, right?
Yeah.
Like I just can't carry that for you and 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 you. And you know, that I'm empathetic and I'm compassionate.
Yeah.
There is not a day that we watch TV that I don't cry because some stupid shit happened in one of our shows. Somebody died, somebody, had a fight, it was a terrible breakup, whatever. And I'm there like, this is funny.
Yeah.
And so you can't tell me that I don't have empathy and compassion. However, I cannot carry everybody's water. So there's
Right.
got to be a point where I say to myself, all right, this is not my circus and not my monkeys. And while I understand where you're coming from and I feel bad, it's just not my cross to bear.
Right.
You
and
know?
I'm sorry, I don't believe kindness and caring. That's almost going back to the 60s flower child things when we were at war. Okay. It's one of those things where I don't know. I think that oversimplifies the problem is right there.
I think what he's saying is like, more flies with honey than shit.
And I agree with that. If you remember, and I've done this, Gillian will tell you this, okay? I have given to homeless people in 1 month more than what some people make, and I mean this literally, in 4 months because I cared. I saw they were hurting. I saw they were trying, or they had children. I cared. And I put it out there and never requested a thing back and don't expect it, okay? But I can't do that for everybody because, again, it will drag you down. Yes, open your heart. Bruce, that's why I still cry at movies. I cry when ask Gillian. You can't play Sister Act 2, all right, with those kids at the end doing their big number and all that stuff, and I'm not bawling. Because I put myself in their place of feeling we did this in front of this office. It's in front of 1,000 people. We did this. And I feel that is empathetic. But at some point, certain people got to take care of themselves.
Right. And I just put up, Cynthia, some people deserve what they get. Karma is a bitch. And you're absolutely right. If you've done me dirty, and I'm not going to, and it comes, what goes around comes around. I'm not going to be like, oh man, I feel bad that you got the short end of the stick. No, you did me dirty. It's about time you got the short end of the stick.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But I still cry. I still cry at Steel Magnolias. I cry every time Dobby dies. I cry, I cry during the Lord of the Rings. I cry, there are all these things that I always cry. I will be reading a book and crying, and Bruce will be looking at me like I'm a lunatic.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or I'll be listening to an audio. There are some audiobooks that I can't even listen to when I'm in the office at work because I will cry.
I hear you.
And
we do. So see right here, we're already defending ourselves about we don't care because we didn't meet somebody else's expectation. And that's what I'm saying. There comes a point, okay? We don't all fit into there's no one size fits all in life. There isn't. Care, empathize, be kind, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. But then there comes a point where you also have to take care of yourself. Don't cast pearls before swine either. Isn't it funny? Both of those are in the same book, Right. So show compassion at a TV show, then why is it hard to show it in reality for two?
I'm not saying I don't have compassion for them. I'm saying, what does that have to do with the price of tea in China?
Because on the fourth, that's all I'm saying right there is you're on a show to win. Why do you want to win this? And Bruce, there comes a point where, all right, you want to make your point. Sucks. I hear that. But when you're on the show for a month and every time it's in your face, like, okay, you said this now. We're all here. We're all tuned in. It has nothing to do with the show. Okay.
Bruce is all over me tonight.
I think that's more me.
No, he says Bridge shows compassion to shelter dogs that she does, more compassion to shelter dogs than she does her neighbor. Yeah, well, the shelter dog never threatened to beat my kid. The shelter dog never threatened to do something to my dog. The shelter dog never, so yeah, I feel compassion.
It's relying on us for help.
Right. The shelter dog didn't ask to be put in a shelter. That the asshole neighbor asked for everything he got. He asked for me to tell him I would set his freaking lawn on fire if he ever came near my kids again. I have no compassion. I don't give a shit about the guy, because you come after me and mine, you're done. So you're absolutely right. I have more compassion for the shelter dog than I do my neighbor.
Sure.
The dog is not an asshole. My neighbor is.
Cynthia says, those poor babies have no choice. People make choices. And that's where a lot of it is. Okay. A lot of it is. Deborah, Bruce, I see both sides, but sometimes those people use it as an excuse for food or for bad behavior.
Yeah.
Cynthia, calm down, Brigitte.
Oh, that's probably the worst thing you absolutely could have said.
Yeah.
Cynthia,
when in the history of calming down. What's that?
I said, how do you feel when your husband tells you to calm down?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, and that's it. Bruce, you are one of the most kindest, compassionate people that I know. And you are, the only one that would supersede you would be my wife. Okay. And I told her this the other day. I don't know how she does what she does. Okay. Yeah. But at the same point, like the Home Depot thing, my compassion when I went off was actually because my friend wasn't being treated right.
Right.
It wasn't that wasn't me. It was him. All right. And I went into that defensive because it looked to me like nobody gave a shit. All right. Then I felt bad because he went, I have to still shop here. Okay. I could see we're not on the same page. So I apologized. And I even went up to them and apologized. But that's it. That's the whole thing. There are times, but you can say that, but in the kindness, the Amish, if a man strikes you, you're not supposed to do anything about it. Turn the other cheek. Where does all this finally go? And let's just live. Yes. How many people will see? Nobody in this room, okay, would see somebody hurt and laying on the side of the road and at least not make sure the cops are on the way.
Right.
Okay. That's compassion. I would stop and see if I can do the first aid, do whatever. So would Bruce. Okay. We'd both be all over an accident scene, knowing what to do or knowing what to do. That's compassion. How many people where compassion is being lost is the people that go, oh, how many doctors drove by that scene? I've had a doctor while I was working on somebody in cardiac arrest. And then I found out the guy standing on my shoulder was a doctor. And I'm like, here, doc, take over. He's like, you're doing fine.
Well, and here's the reason for that. Because then they get hit with malpractice.
Liability.
Some kind of liability. It's the same. But, and here's the other side of that. I'm driving. It's me and one of the boys or something, and some guy's on the side of the road with broken down. I'm not stopping. I don't know who that guy is. I don't want a tire iron upside my head or to wind up in somebody's freezer. No.
And if you did that, Bruce would be wildly mad at you, even though your intentions were good. Just like I would be wildly mad at you and Gillian. The world is not the same place it was. Or let me put it this way. Maybe it is, but now we're more aware of it.
Right.
The 70s serial killers, 80s, 90s, there were more murders in the 90s every day than there are now.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I don't.
Bruce, I'm with you. I've been right there. Even when I can, I'm like, no. Especially if it's a female and they're stuck in the middle of traffic, people sitting there blowing their horn at them and shit like that.
I'm more apt to stop for a woman, but
Yeah.
you know, but I'm look. You never know who you're stopping for.
And that's it. Now they're what they're doing is they're putting a woman out on the side of the road next to a car, and the male is off in the bushes. You stop, he runs out, and they both rob you.
Yeah.
You know, and that's so. What do we do? How do we do that? You know,
I've called AAA for people. I've used my AAA for people.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I've done that too. Use my AAA card for people that we don't know. Yeah, here, let's get this.
Several times I've used my AAA for people.
Right.
But I just, you know, I don't know. I mean, I don't. But then there are other things where it's like people, they just play that. They use your compassion against you. I think that's kind of where we're going. And I think, you know, the sob story, the first go around, it's all right. I get it. I understand.
I'm with you.
Where you're coming from. But that sob story. Oh,
and the one that I'm particularly remembering, the lady standing next to her was a cancer survivor. And this lady wouldn't even acknowledge her.
Yeah.
Oh, we're in this together. We're doing, no, it was all about her. It was her moment in the light. And that's when I'm like, you know what? That's enough. I'm done. I don't care. And I do. Now that's the bad part. Gillian will tell you when we met at our first meeting, when we were laying out ground rules. Okay. And Brigitte, you know this. Don't put me in the position where I don't give a shit.
Right.
Because I truly will not give a shit. I will step over your burning body and go, I'll call the cops for you. Maybe.
You know, I'm the same way. I mean, when I'm done. It takes a long time to get me there.
Right.
Once I'm there, it's done. And people don't realize that I'm gearing up to that. And then I'll just be done. And to them, it appears as though one day I just decide, you know, like one day I was okay, and the next day I just decided, you know, I'm done. And that's not how it works for me. You know, it's a series of, you know, things until one day I'm like, that's it. I've had enough. And then I've had enough.
Bruce just made a statement. Cynthia, that's the cynicism that poisons the planet. No, it's not. Now it's called safety. And some of that is that's your belief. That's fine. And at 6'2" or 6'3", whatever, you're a big man, brother. You and I don't have the same fear concerns a lot of times that somebody else does. It's easier for us to step out of our comfort zone than it is for somebody that can't defend themselves. They can't do anything. So that is, again, it's a personal thing. I'm glad that works for you. I believe that. But there are certain times I want Brigitte to be cynical. I want my wife to be cynical because it's what keeps people alive today. You have to realize there's a scam. You're cynical when you look at the phone. Why don't you answer every call? Every call, regardless what the number is. Because we all think somebody's going to scam us, you know? And it just bleeds that way, you know, and that's all. And everybody knows Bruce and I love each other to death. We don't agree on everything, but
every time the phone rings, and I'm like, no way, I'm not answering.
Yeah, see, and I'm glad there are people still like that out there. Okay, I truly am. Okay, but no, not doing it.
Bruce,
you know, after having to close 3 different credit cards, and it got traced back to they were using my number. They just needed to verify or something. You know, no, I don't.
Bruce, I think you're twisting things anyway. I mean,
a little bit.
I think you're twisting the narrative of how things are. You know, just the fact that helping someone is not in your natural comfort zone is part of the issue. It's not in my natural comfort zone.
Right.
And I have to consider whether or not I'm going to get bludgeoned to death, shot, robbed, my throat slit. So, no.
Or if I even want to take on, all right, somebody we both know very closely that we no longer speak to, all right, female, all right, that we're all, okay, the J word, okay, okay. Why do we have nothing to do with it? Because it was all too so. After a while, it's of your own making. We just can't deal with it anymore. All right. And I think even that person had that within their, still had that compassion. I think more people have it. But if, and there's a problem, people don't measure up to everybody. There are people that think this is how the world should be. And everybody's not going to fit your mold. Everybody's not going to fit your ideal. It just doesn't work that way. That's why we're all different. So, and so, no, I don't agree with, because Brigitte and I would help somebody we don't know in a minute. Okay.
I have.
If the energy is right, if it's driven, if it's what, and we've seen something happen like, oh shit, this person's legitimately in trouble. All right. Yeah, absolutely. Everybody? No. No. There have been times I've stopped to help somebody, weighed out the situation, and went, you know what, I'll call you some help. And I got back in my car and drove off.
Right.
It depends on the energy I'm picking up at that moment, okay? Because I don't trust
well, I'll
everybody.
tell you what, Bruce, if it makes me a shitty person, then so be it. I'm a shitty person, but it is what it is, you know? There are plenty of people out there who don't think that that's what I am. So
right.
That's fine. But, you know, it is what it is. I'm not going to go ahead and put myself in a position of you know, yeah.
Right. I believe walking up to people and giving them a compliment, like I've heard you do all the time, Bruce. I do the same thing. All right. That's kindness. Make somebody smile. All right. Those are things that we can do. Hey, picking up a check for somebody, they're sitting there scrounging through their purse or whatnot.
Right, buying groceries.
And you go, hey, just put there on mine. And they go, no, I've got it. I know. Pay it forward. Do this for somebody else one day. That's kindness. Paying the toll. You know, when we used to have to pay tolls, you know, for the person behind you, you know, things like that. I think that's still out there. And I think we see that every day. But I do think people are using it. So people are starting to put up defenses. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I also think that people prey on people. You know, in the eyes of many people, kindness is weakness, and they will go ahead and use that to their advantage.
Right. And Bruce, I agree with your last statement. Man, that sucks. All right. Talk to you later. You don't have to bring them down. Well, what'd you do? Why did you make this worse? Why are you making these decisions? You know, yeah, no, we got enough of that shit going on. Okay. Some people get to choose to live their life the way we want to. And thank God somebody was there to help me when I made some bad decisions, or my bad decisions weren't worse decisions. You know? So I'm with you there. I
hear you. You know what, Bruce? If you don't know who I am after 25 years, then I don't know what to tell you. You know, I mean, in all seriousness, you know better than what you're putting than what you're putting in the chat.
Bruce, I used to do that where it was like I would keep like McDonald's gift certificates in the car, because I was raised up under that. I'll give them food, but I ain't giving them no money. You know what? Working in a homeless shelter for 4 years, all right, with people that were homeless and things like that, they're smoking $1 pack cigarettes. There are times if you were homeless, you would need a pack of cigarettes.
Right.
And what I say is if they're homeless and I'm giving it to them out of love. Here's $5.
Right.
I don't care what you do with it. It's on you, you know? And I'll use a good example of, Scrooged, where the one guy, he bought him a bottle and he went down in the sewer and froze to death. And he's screaming at him, why didn't you stay with Claire? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? But you know what? The guy was smiling.
Right.
And it's his choice of how he wants to live his life. And if this is what's going to make him happy in those last minutes, on you, not me. Once I learned to disconnect with that, oh, I will do this, I won't do that. No, here you go. Boom. Go spend it on what you want. Just because I begged people to go buy those, there was a green carton of cigarettes where they were $1 a pack. You'll know what I'm talking about. They're like
305s or whatever.
Yeah, like the 305 cigarillo things or whatnot, where they were literally $1 a pack. And I'm like, you want to help a homeless dude out? All right. If you're going to give him $10, hand him a carton of cigarettes.
Right.
You'll think they fell over. And it's not always food. All right. It's not always food they need. All right. But yeah, help them out, see whatever. Because again, I don't know what got them there. Was it their, and then I'm not going to sit there and interview them to find out their life story. Because I also know this, other than that one guy, I never met anybody that woke up that day and said, let's go become a heroin addict.
Right.
Bad mistakes, bad choices,
or whatever,
things like that. And now they're screwed. Our system is set against a lot of these people in Brevard and Orange County. Women, they have so many outs for if you're pregnant, there's shelters, there's different things you can do. But men don't have that. You have to go to a faith-based sitta church thing, go to church, and everything else like it's some divine thing to save every homeless male. Okay, it's got to be done through religion. All right. And I'm sorry, that just sucks.
Right.
That sucks. So sometimes they're like, I'm not going to go sit and listen to this. So I'd rather be in the woods. Okay, your choice. Your choice. So here you go. You can either go to McDonald's, go get a fifth, go get whatever you want. But, anything I can do to make your life just a little bit better, buying if they've got a pet, we've, Gillian and I have gone and bought dog food.
Yeah, we have to. Dog food.
Yeah, I kind of figured y'all would. That's compassion. That's compassion. But do I do it for every person I see like that? No, I don't. Sometimes I don't have time. And sometimes I'm like, nothing's drawing me to do that right now. Or I don't have any cash on me. Whatever it may be. And I don't have the time to go, let's go back inside. It is what it is when it is for me. That's it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, but how do we get all the way from where we were to here?
Because we were talking about, trying to be,
right.
looking for faith and stuff. And somebody said, well, just, love and kindness. So Gil said she grew up in Son of Sam, Martha Moxley, numerous New York City suburb abduction cases, among others. These get ingrained from a 12-year-old perspective. Nope, not stopping for you if I'm alone. Amen, Gillian. I'm right there with you, I mean, even where I grew up on Long Island, I don't know, I guess I was 10 years old. The kid was walking home from school. Somebody drug him into an alley, raped him, and killed him. I mean, you just gotta be diligent. You just can't assume that people are good.
Yeah, no, you can't. And it is a shame. I like to assume it. Okay. I do believe that deep down inside, we used to say to people, when you would do an interview, do you think the majority of people are trying to do the right thing? And we used to say, yeah, now it's like, I don't know if it's a majority anymore. I think they might want to do the right thing, but I think we've gotten into a what's in this for me mode.
I have been for many years now. Many years now. I have been of the belief that people will do what they think they can do.
Yeah, I do believe this.
If they don't think they can get away with it, they're not going to kill somebody.
Right.
They're not going to rob a bank or commit some sort of crime or whatever. Steal from this one or that one or do whatever the thing if they don't think they're going to get away with it. But if they truly believe they're going to get away with it, they're going to do it.
Yeah.
You think a serial killer kills people and thinks that they're going to get caught?
No, I don't. There are some that's like they want to get caught, but I don't know why, or if it's for the wrong reasons, for notoriety or for whatever. But most of them, when you talk about a serial killer, now we're talking about either a sociopath or a psychopath. And that's where Bruce's lack of empathy comes into play. Nothing matters in this world but me. Nothing. A narcissist, okay? They're like a step before a sociopath or a, psychopath, because all these people are here at my whim to do what I want and make my world live. So other than that, if they wanted to get caught, I've always said to them, why didn't you just turn yourself in? You know, you could have saved us a lot of problem. All right. But no, they don't. And I remember all those things. The Son of Sam and all that stuff and everything. The dog told me to do it.
To some degree, that's anybody who's, well, I don't want to say anybody. I mean, I know that people do things because there's life circumstances that drive them to steal the gallon of milk or the package of diapers or, break into somebody's house to take the money out of the cookie jar because they need to do this, that, or whatever. But there are truly just people out there who they're going to do what they're going to do because they think they can.
Right.
And
but, like Bruce just laid out, William Shatner and his daughter both revealed they have stage 4 cancer. That sucks. And I've been telling my wife, when people, when the old people were going and all that stuff, it was like, okay, it was expected. But people are going now that we grew up with.
Right.
And mortality is setting in. And, I admire that man. Whether anybody likes him, or I don't even know what his beliefs are, don't care. But he has worked, done awesome things with being
96
successful.
years old or something. He has lived a full life. It sucks that he has cancer. It sucks that he's going to die. You know what he got to do? He got to live to almost 100 years old. At least he didn't get cancer at 22.
Right.
And didn't get to live his life. And so here's Bruce. Oh, sorry to hear that. Thoughts and prayers. What do you want me to do, Bruce? How do you want me to react to William Shatner's cancer diagnosis?
That sucks. Sorry to hear it.
Right. It sucks.
And when it happens, I will probably have a moment and shed a tear, because he's been around in my life, just like Bruce, since we were kids, from different roles. I remember him in Westerns, so that's, that is.
But he's 90-something years old, Rob. It's not like he's 25, 30.
Patrick Swayze that died of cancer right in the prime, he was one of the,
But even
loved
he had
guys
a
in
really
Hollywood.
great life. Even he had a really great run
Yeah.
up into that. And that sucks. And it's a horrible way to go.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what the expectation of the reaction is. Now, flip side. My kid comes to me and tells me they have cancer. My sister comes to me and tells me she has cancer. That's a whole different story. Bruce comes to me and tells me he has cancer. That's a whole nother ball of wax, right?
Yes.
My friend from work that I'm very friendly with comes to me and tells me she has cancer. That is, I'm going to cry. I'm going to be emotional. I am not going to manage that situation well. I don't know William Shatner. I feel bad. I have empathy. I feel bad for his family and the fact that they have to go through that. But what is the
It's
reaction?
happening at some time, and he's 94. I just hope he doesn't go out in pain. It's one of those, because, and Bruce, here's the thing. Just like, okay, yes, you're going to feel bad and it's going to hurt a little bit when he goes. All right. You're going to go to California or New York, wherever he's at. But when I was in trouble, just last year, when I was in trouble, you were going to jump on a plane to come be next to me and to help Gillian. One of the few people in my life that would do that. And I would do the same thing for you. That's the distance, the relationship. I can't take all these people on like they're you. Okay? Because that, if we do, if anything we know science has proven, you will burn yourself out. And then you're there to help nobody. That's called self-care. I can't take on every problem in the world. So, oh my God, 1 hour and 22 minutes.
I know, we got off on a tangent.
Yeah. So, thank you, Mr. Bruce, Cynthia, Donna.
Thanks, guys. Gillian, for your 2 cents. Yeah, we went off on a tangent, but
I like these conversations.
Yeah,
I love them, because it does bring up a thing. So even if it gets one person to look and go, why do I feel lost? What's going on? Maybe sometimes we need to take a look at our choices versus, we can't always blame it on spirit. We can't always blame it on Mars. We can't always blame it on the moon. Does that have effect? Yeah, some.
Of course it does.
But it's not.
No, I think we have free will regardless of what degree Mars is sitting in right now. I have free will, and I'm capable of understanding right and wrong, and you know what I mean? So at any rate.
You know what? Cynthia just said something. This was one of the things I was going to talk about tonight if we kind of went off the rails. All right. And thank you, Bruce. This is your fault. Okay. Cancer. All right. AIDS came out. We fought it. All of the major diseases. Okay. Now, is AIDS cured? No. But now we're saving lives. We have the medical ability to be able to give people a pill where they show absolutely negative. Huh?
How did Magic Johnson get AIDS at the height of the AIDS epidemic and not die from it? Tell me how he got AIDS at the height of the AIDS epidemic with no cure, no nothing, and he is alive today.
And Freddie Mercury died a horrible death. The whole pneumonia thing. So, yeah, what was it? Money? Well, I think Freddie Mercury probably had more money than Magic Johnson, but nobody looked up to Freddie Mercury.
I did.
Well, I'm talking about the people that write the checks. Okay. So, yeah, right. But Cynthia, I'm right there with you. I was watching something today. Somebody died of cancer. I'm like, oh, it was an ad for St. Jude's.
This yet? Yeah.
What the hell? How have we not found a way to remove it, cure it? This makes no sense, okay?
It doesn't.
And I'm sorry, there's my disbelief in trusting Big Pharma or the medical community, because I do believe somebody is getting filthy rich off of the cancer epidemic.
Hey, man,
I'm not going to go there.
Watch a man have to suffer with menopause and watch
God.
how all of a sudden there's all kinds of treatments and cures to take care of that. I'm sorry, but it's true. It's Big Pharma, man. It's bullshit.
Yeah, I believe that's true. I believe that's true, that there's something that does not make sense.
But
That makes no sense to me at all, that we even have a need for a St. Jude's hospital. It breaks my heart to see those children, things like that, and knowing we've been close with our insurance to having some serious issues, Gillian with some of her cancer issues, but insurance decides they don't want to pay this.
Yeah, they're just not.
They don't want to pay that. And it was she went a year and a half after having the cancer removed from inside her sinus cavity to being able to get her follow-up visit.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? Cancer is a conspiracy, I do believe, or it's the one mass unknown that we don't know anything about that finally does its Earth's population control. You know, I don't know.
Population control, because it's such a strain on the economy.
No, I'm talking about Mother Nature.
Yeah.
To keep us all in check, you know?
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know. I don't know. I know people that have lung cancer that have never been around, you know, or never smoked a cigarette themselves.
Right.
Are certain people prone to it? Are they not? I smoked like a fiend. I still think sometimes that's my cough I get every now and then, because all I smoked was menthols. And there was a point I was smoking 4 packs a day. So I smoked for 20 something years, right around 20 years, I guess. I haven't smoked since right before I met Gillian. And I think that was one thing Spirit said. I've got somebody lined up for you, but you got to knock that shit off.
You got to quit smoking, right?
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I can't believe that they don't have a cure. I just call bullshit.
Right.
I believe that there's more medication or cures out there for many things.
Right. But you got to be able to afford it. Therefore, it's not put out to the masses. Why do you think, too, if we're going to talk about Big Pharma again for a little minute, when we were kids, there were never ads for drugs on the TV.
Oh, no.
You trusted your doctor.
The only ad that I remember is the baby aspirin, the Bear baby aspirin.
Baby aspirin and plop, plop, fizz, fizz, and Pepto-Bismol. That was it, you know? But now, since they can't pay the doctors anymore these radical amounts of money to push their scripts, they're pushing it out to us to ask the doctor, and they want you to become Big Pharma's advocate for their medicine.
But the thing is then your insurance, though, says there's no generic of that. So we're not approving it. So you can't. There needs to be something else.
Right. And then on top of that, okay, all of that is marketing and is now a tax write-off. So they're making, the quicker they can get a pill to market. You know, I love the new one. I forget what it is, that if you suffer from bleeding, Bruce, I know you know this one.
Bleeding from the rectum or whatever.
Yeah, bleeding from beneath the above the anus and below the testicles. You know, yeah, you might want to stop. Well,
discontinue use immediately.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? Don't use it if you're allergic to it. What? WTF? I probably said that too much. I got to be careful. So I got to abbreviate. You know, it's, you know.
But the thing of it is if you've never taken it, how do you know if you're allergic to it?
You know, have some fun. I've done this.
Going into
when one of those ads comes on, time how long the ad is on, but then see how long they go about the list of what to be afraid of and the side effects. That's the majority of the time in the commercial. But because it's to market, all of those ads are now tax deductibles, just like it would be for me, Bruce, Brigitte, in our own business, and Gillian or whatnot. If you were paying for advertisement, you'd be able to deduct that as an expense of the business. Ta-da! Yeah. You know? So, yeah, all right, I'll stop there because I'll get fired up again, you know? So, yeah.
Well, anyway, sorry guys, we went off on a tangent, but
yes, we did.
It started out good, but I think we ended up sort of somewhere left of Albuquerque. Anybody who gets that joke.
Take that left at Albuquerque.
But anywho, all right. So everybody have a good one. Rob will catch you Monday. We'll probably catch you Wednesday.
Yep.
And you know, have a good one, guys. Good night.
Have a good one, everybody.